Alright, so my name is Mike Agnew. My project is Reserve Me, and it's an online reservation platform. So basically, Reserve Me it's a web-based reservation platform currently designed for cities that rent out public places, such as park plazas. They have a terrace, gazebos, things like that. And what it also does is it will process payments, and it'll also be open source. So the development of this was requested by the city of Schenectady, specifically by the mayor, and they contacted someone from the department who then contacted me, and I began mid-semester this year. So what I've started out with is the design, and what that consists of is what I want to have is basically an application layer, and what will be essentially a list of what's available to rent. And that list will be displayed on the application layer, and then a person can make a reservation online, process the payment, and that'll go into the database, which will then update the list of what's available to rent. So really, it's a fairly simple structure. I don't want to overcomplicate it for what it is. So currently what it's made up of is the application layer is web-based, like I said, and I'm using jQuery for aesthetics. And for the back-end database, it's MySQL, and I'll be using an ODB for the relational capabilities where they're needed. PHP is used to interact. I was considering using OpenCart. This is a presentation from the Open Source Festival. But since then, I've experimented with OpenCart. It's very, very complicated. It's the problem with it was that it's basically its own system set up for making a store online. So, and what I was looking for in it was the ability to process payments easily, but that's also complicated in it, and you set up a module to do it. So I'd rather just do the payment setup through the city and collaborate to get that set up. But as for, I've recently started using a new system for user management. I actually just implemented that recently, and that's called UserCake. It's really, I started out using Drupal, realized that was also too complicated. That just did too much. I didn't need that much. This is supposed to be simplistic, easy to use. So I found this, and basically all it does is quick user authentication, log in, log out, register, just pre-built, and then it's really easy to integrate. So I just threw that on there, and then I can expand upon it, which is the nice part, which I plan on doing. So currently, I finished design. For the most part, I have to discuss it with the city. I started developing a UI prototype. Basic prototypes are coming soon for interacting between the user and the database. And overall, it'll turn into a working prototype where the UI prototype and the database prototype will combine. Hopefully this happens seamlessly. It's moving pretty quickly. And then that'll be polished until everything's ready. For the goals, like I said, I want to create a polished product because it's for public use. So work out bugs, make sure it runs cleanly, figure out what kind of server, what kind of web server it has to run on to run what it needs to do so it's not crashing. And then we want the software to possibly be used by other cities that have similar needs, and also I want to make the product's purpose interchangeable, so you can actually just download the package and install it on your web server, and it can be set up and you can modify it. I want it to be simplistic. This is an open source project because we want it to be easy to access by local governments. We don't want this to be something where they have to go out and make deals with different companies for licensing. And this also means that if someone wants to go and improve on this in the future, there's no restrictions, nothing to tie it down so that it can't be used. The purpose of this is that cities need good organization to operate, and what this is going to do is create a polished and modern solution. If you've looked at city websites in the past, they're often outdated, they don't really have an IT department basically that knows what they're doing, I guess. The websites don't look, they don't look good. And so this will offer something that people will be able to use easily. And then we want it to be, to create. This should be easy to do. This should be something a city can just throw in there, and then other people can see it. It's basically the purpose of open source. So, any questions or comments? I also have what I have so far, the UI design. This is what's there so far. It's kind of hard to see because of the screen. I'm working on it a little bit, but trying to make it stylistic, easy to look at. Like I said, it's being reworked. There is, although it's hard to see, there's login and registration. So if I want to log in, I just and this is all through. Obviously, there's still bugs because it's getting worked out. But basically, it's all customizable too, because this is what's nice about user cake. They can go and modify basic things here instead of having to go through all the code and figure out how to change the title of your website, which it's surprising how long it can take some people. But yeah, so any questions or comments?
When are you going to meet with the mayor? So when are you going to get the feedback?
I'm calling him tomorrow to set up a meeting, see what I have.
Yeah, set up a meeting or have a Skype meeting that is easy.
Yeah. Another thing I forgot to mention that's going into it is the front. Like I said, I want it to be easy to customize, so I'm making modules that they can edit parameters for it. Like the front page could have a banner that scrolls across, and they can just go and enter what they want in each part of it, and then what featured locations they want to display, and then a simple way for them to add all the locations, because I don't think they expect me to add them all for them. But, yeah. Any other questions?